You know, I've been warned by a couple of experts that chances are very high, I'm going to put this in as a little prediction, that when that thing is capped completely and stops flowing, that the money will stop as well. And it will be, I'll see you in court. And that's the attitude that, you know, the Exxon spill did.
Yeah, there's no making whole of anything.
There's a lot more animals dying out there too.
Well, what about the extinction of species? I know in Alaska there were two kinds of fish that they fished, mainly salmon, and the other one was...
The salmon fishery did come back, I believe 100%. I know out of 23 fisheries, I believe, oh, I don't want to quote it wrong, but I think 8 came back out of 23, 8 or 9.
And what was the other one? Not halibut, it was something else.
Let's
The
see.
point is this, though. The point is this. I believe Riki Ott said, Dr. Ott said that there was actually, there are holes in their ecosystem, and that Florida, because of the size of the Gulf and the complexity, will also experience holes, meaning that there are going to be entire species that are now fry, you know, that are starting to grow, that are hatching and so forth, that are going to be killed and will be missing from the Florida Gulf for generations, if not forever.
There could be. We just don't really know because the Gulf is so different.
It is different
Than the Prince William Sound spill.
But there was food chain, you know, it's a food chain.
What I found interesting, I was just reading this morning, and I took some notes here about the biggest spill. Hang on a sec, let's see. The biggest spill ever in the world, I thought you'd find this interesting, was in Kuwait, 1991, in the Persian Gulf. I found a story, this is on CNN's website, Mark Tutton wrote the story. It said 5 to 10 million barrels of oil were dumped. Not because of an accident, this was done intentionally. It was done by Iraqi troops retreating from their occupation of Kuwait. They set fire to desert oil wells and opened the valves of the oil rigs and pipelines. And that was the largest spill ever.
Yes.
Things didn't get attended to correctly right at the beginning. Right. I have not been able to read anywhere. I can't guarantee that this is, you know, everything.
I'll definitely look
I don't believe the dispersants were ever used on this oil spill. I have not been able to read anything about dispersants. I tried to clean beaches, things like that. It said fishing was shut down. Nobody was allowed to fish at all, which I believe was for about 3 years.
Yeah.
You know, 3 years here in our Gulf. I know 3 months we would all be, you know, in foreclosure with our homes.
Oh yeah.
We can't make it
like
that. There's just no way.
It's a totally different economy over there too.
Now they said birds and fish showed signs of improvement by 94. One of the things he recommended was you have to have a good action plan. And they said always expect the unexpected. And that's one of the things that I think is making us all so sick. I mean, just anybody you talk to in Florida is that there was not a good action plan for this thing. You know, I mean, we don't want to be dependent on other countries. We also don't want to be dependent on oil. We know that. But there was no good action plan. And now they're able to like hide what they're doing.
Well, the action plan wasn't even correct. First of all, they were saying right in the beginning that the plan said that they were going to protect the Caribbean walrus. There is no Caribbean walrus.
Right.
And then something else was that...
That's because they copied it, like word from word, from Alaska's plan.
And farmers are using hay. They're running down there with pitchforks full of hay trying to collect the oil.
The hay hasn't been found to work.
But the fact is that they're resorting to hay. I mean, this is how old their systems are, that people have to resort to using buckets and hay.
Well, I think people are just desperate right now. They don't know what to do. They're seeing what's happening. This is very serious, and it's still pumping. The fact that we can go on and we can look, and it makes you just sick seeing it still pumping out. Kathy, this isn't just a spill that ended.
Kathy, I'd like to thank you for being here. This is Kathy Birren, folks, of Hernando Beach Seafoods. She's talking about the Gulf spill, and she's talking about a lot of the work that Dr. Riki Ott has. Sure.
There's one more thing. Well, 2 things real quick.
We're not done with our show. We got another 12 minutes to go. But by all means, let me say one thing. A lot of veterans are out there right now in the Gulf, and this is the 4th of July, and the veterans are sent out there to do help with the cleanup. And I just hope that they're well protected, especially that this is our Independence Day weekend, and we've got a lot of things. I want to read you something we're going to do here locally for the veterans. It's Operation Troop Appreciation. We want to show that. It's tonight, Thursday at 7 o'clock, July 1st at Kennan Plaza, located near the east side of Bushnell Walmart parking lot in Lombardelli's Pizzeria and Car Wash. The activities are good company from great veterans, music, an Elvis impersonator, that's Kenny Grube, Guest speaker Captain Don Hanfeld, the U.S. Navy, a memorial military display will be there. Refreshments will be cold drinks and pizza and ice cold watermelon. We want you all to come out and have a good time with your local veterans and friends and start your Independence Weekend with a bang. So call 250-5120 for further details, or call Cindy at Lombardelli's Pizzeria at 352-303-1468. And I'd just like to say to all of the veterans out there, if you're listening and you're helping out with the cleanup, make sure you wear some kind of respirator. If you're not, ask your captains, ask your petty officers, you know, aren't we supposed to be protected? Because this could be a long-term thing. Just because you're in the military doesn't mean you shouldn't be protected, you know.
Yes, please be safe. Just please be safe. Don't trust what you're being told. Don't just, you know, if they say, oh, you're fine, don't agree with that. They're showing us charts of beaches and what the air quality is there, not what's on the people, and the people are getting sick. So please be safe. I agree. There's two announcements I wanted to make. There's two things going on. Number one of the things you've been able to get through, which is great. The blue crab industry has shutdown periods. Some of the periods are different in different counties. What it is there's 10 days where they have to take their traps out of the water. Then they go in and they do like a quick scramble to bring in traps that may have been left out there. We have been able to put through, I have a news release here, June 29th. Florida Fish and Wildlife has issued an executive order to waive 4 previously scheduled 10-day blue crab trap harvest closures in July and August this year. The FWC is taking this action to help relieve possible economic hardships on fishing communities that may occur during this BP Horizon oil spill. This order, which can be viewed online, takes effect at 12:01 a.m. July 1st, 2010 and will expire 12:01 a.m. June 30th, 2011. All other provisions governing the harvest of blue crabs in Florida remain in effect. So this is good. This means 10 days where they can continue to fish when we don't know what could be coming.
Now, Kathy, what is your email address again in case anybody needs to contact?
Okay, the email address, also for people that may have joined later and listening, Sound Truth and Corporate Myths, The Legacy of the Exxon Valdez Oil Spill by Dr. Riki Ott. I'm getting in a pallet of 800 books. They'll only be required to pay $2 per book. We just need to cover the shipping of getting it here. They can email me at hernandobeachseafood@yahoo.com, and that's Hernando with an H.
Right.
And this is a great book. It tells the truth of what happened. If you want to know the truth, you don't want to just hear what you're hearing on TV. There's a lot of stuff being blocked right now. Now there's another thing that's going on tonight. It's an email that I received. It says, if everyone who receives this message, we've sent it to thousands, could all join us tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard, 8 p.m. Mountain, 7 p.m. Central, and 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and say these words: positive action creates positive responses. We believe that at the center of the Gulf oil spill, that there are people surrounding the beaches in the light of love and in prayer for a healing and a belief in miracles. We know that God will take care of the people who suffer, the animals affected in the ecosystem. We pray for the residents of the Gulf Coast who suffer and know that a healing will prevail.
Thanks. Listen, don't read so fast. People want to hear this, so next time you read that, slow it down a little bit. I want everybody to hear it clearly, and I want people to be able to go on YouTube and see it, and I want them, they'll be able to get this on a podcast too from the bvmicrotel.com website, and they'll also be able to get that from WPIO FM's radio station.
Do you want me to go ahead and read it, or?
Well, if you're finished.
Well, there's some more here.
Okay.
Basically, what I'm going to say to you is we really do need prayer. People need prayer. There's a lot of people really scared right now. Another thing I want to say, tonight when you pray, please do this. Or take just a moment.
Right.
Grab somebody, say, let's just pray for our Gulf and for the people. And you know what? I hate to say, but we need to pray for our government too.
Yeah.
They need all the prayers they can get. There are people out there like Franklin Sands who are trying to do the right thing.
But
and like
Halliburton
Diane.
and the others, they took gigantic payments from BP. Huge.
Well, we won't say much about that.
Well, I'll tell you, I was just watching the late show last night with not David Letterman. What's his name? The guy with the chin.
Yes.
And he had a person on there who wrote a story for I think it was the Washington Post, and it was all about that. And I'll tell you, I've got to find that and put it on. Put a link to that too, because that was incredible. How many millions? 25 million, I think it was, in one check.
Wow. Well, this is one thing I'd like to say, before we wrap up. If you're listening to this and you're hearing all this, I know it can be really